There's a well-known Gemara, a beautiful Gemara. The potential convert that came to Hillel. And he had approached other rabbis and said, teach me Torah on one foot. That's impossible. If you teach me Torah on one foot, then I'll think about becoming a Jew. They threw him out. He comes to the great, wise, and pious Hillel, and Hillel says to him, Madisani lach lo isasa lechavercha. What you wouldn't want done to you, don't do to your friend. And the rest, Zilgmar. You'll learn the rest. But just remember that this is the principle. What a beautiful idea. But that Gemara requires more understanding. We know that there are different groups of mitzvahs. There are mitzvahs bein adam l'makom, commandments between man and God, and mitzvahs bein adam l'chavera, man and his fellow man. Hillel seems to be addressing only one of the commandments, of that group of commandments. He's talking about man and his fellow man. What about man's relationship with God? The Torah is replete. Half of the Aseres HaDibros, of the Ten Commandments, you have 5 bein adam l'makom, and you have 5 bein adam l'chavero. The answer to this question might be at the core of what does it mean to be in the service of God? What does it mean bein mitzvos bein adam l'makom? When an individual focuses on the fact that they are not simply a goof, a body that feels its own instincts, its own impulses. When I'm hungry, you don't feel hungry. And when you're hungry, I don't feel that you're hungry. A body that automatically goes to a place in which he feels only from his self-centered perspective. That individual cannot access a spiritual relationship with God. A spiritual relationship begins with the recognition that we're made up of a soul, that we're not simply physical entities who are pulled by animal-like instincts, but rather we have a neshama, a soul that is part of God. The individual that recognizes that is an individual who can now lift themselves above time and place. An individual who doesn't only live in that particular physical entity that he is, but is able to see and feel others, is part of a larger spiritual body that is the whole people of Israel, and by extension, the entire world. That individual is capable of forging a relationship with God. The more and more we become connected to our neshama, the more and more we become removed from that self-centered place, the more and more we could bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu in. As we mentioned in the past, the Kotzker Rebbe said, where is God? Wherever you let him in. That is why Hillel was not only teaching about the relationship between man and fellow man, commandments that relate between individuals, but rather teaching us the secret of a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu.